Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe. It's the opening rounds of the championship because it's a later start to the season this year. And we had a very lively race yesterday, which ended up with a win that perhaps came out of nowhere for Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton. Late race, it was building up nicely for a battle between the two sister Imperiali racing cars. One of Karol Bash, and he was chasing after Kiko Galbiati, whose car had led the race from the start. And then they collided, and they both ended up with one a delay and one a spin. And through the melee came Stuart Middleton to score the win. The officials had a look post-race and decided that it was actually Galbiati who was at fault. There's a lot of debate as to whether there was anything he could have done to avoid the incident, because it did all look inevitable that Karol Bash was going to make contact. However, the stewards came down on the side of Bash, and Galbiati was given a penalty for his part in the incident, and that dropped the car even further down the order. So yesterday, the race won by Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew, the two British drivers. Second yesterday was Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Folco. A good run that by them, because they started way back on the grid, and to come through for third was newcomer Danny Cruz, who shares with the Russian driver Sergei Afanasiev, and we are looking forward to another good scrap today. Vito Postiglione shares with Kiko Galbiati. He had done nothing wrong in the opening stint, but then this contact putting the car down the order, plus the penalty. We did have a bit of damage for one or two others as well yesterday, like the car of Jose Collado lost a wheel. Niels Lagrange had a problem, and so also did Fabrizio Costatini, who ended up as a retirement with mechanical woes that he'd also had in the qualifying session. Now this race lasts for 50 minutes, and there are mandatory pit stops between the 20 and 30 minute mark. If you're on your own, you stop for a minute and 28 seconds. If you're a double driver entry, it's a minute and 25. So the cars making their way up to the grid. The grid is pretty busy, as you can see. And pole position will go the way of Karol Bash here. He shares with Bartosz Paziewski, former Clio racer. You start the race for which you have qualified, and it's one driver, one session. So yesterday it was Paziewski that started today, Karol Bash. Now what about yesterday's winners? Stuart Middleton and Jack Bartholomew go from second, and Jack is with Dakota Jane.
Jack, an absolute fabulous win yesterday. I bet you are ready to raring to go today on second place.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really exciting race. We didn't expect it. We had a little bit of luck on our side, but then, you know, half the time motorsport is about being in the right place at the right time, so we're really happy with that. Great way to start the season at our home race. Starting second today. We've done a little bit of analysis overnight, so yeah, we're ready to go today.
What kind of analysis overnight?
Oh, I can't tell you that, because then we're giving stuff away to our competitors, but yeah, we're looking good for today.
Good, and Vito's obviously behind you. He's probably pretty angry after yesterday. You're going to be watching out for him?
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he'll be pushing very hard, but we'll do everything we can to keep him behind.
Great, good luck.
Thank you.
Who will do the second stint today, former single-seater racer, but also Middle East Lamborghini Super Trofeo champion. So he knows exactly what he's doing in these cars, and he'll be one to watch for sure. 50-minute then, this race, and looking forward to not only the overall battle, but also what goes on in the classes, because there will be, as ever, Pro-Am, Am and Lamborghini Cup action as well. So much to look forward to in this race. We'll have a walk up the grid when everybody has arrived. Still the cars are pouring up into position. The entry, 23 cars, which is not as big as we had last season, but it's a quality entry, that's for sure. And although yesterday's first part was all about Vito Postiglione just driving away and counting off the laps, it got very exciting towards the end, and it's those drivers that will now do the opening stint today. So do we have a repeat of the Bash-Galbiati battle that we had yesterday? Kiko Galbiati will be absolutely determined to put one over on this car, because he feels rather aggrieved after yesterday. So there is, on the grid, Karol Bash, who came into the championship last year, former car sub. It was his first season of car racing last season. He partnered Vito Postiglione, now he's in the rival car, and he's also done a bit of Italian GT racing. He drove in the Middle East Championship at the start of this season. So Bartosz Paziewski will do the second stint. Let's hear from him next.
Absolutely fabulous to be starting on pole here at Silverstone. What a wonderful day it is on the grid. It's nice to see so many Lamborghinis lining up behind you, but I bet you're happy to be in pole.
Yeah, I'm very happy because I'm first time here in Silverstone. It's my debut in Lamborghini. Before season I have only one test, so it's my debut in the car, also in the track, so we are very happy.
And are you happy to be driving with Carol? Carol's a very experienced Lamborghini Super Trofeo driver. We've seen him come across the field in many different ways. I bet you're really happy to be driving with him.
Yeah, Carol is a best teammate. He is very quickly. He has a lot of experience, so I'm happy to work with him.
Let's hope for a Rubato today, a good job. Well, let's see how it goes.
Karol Bash then will do the opening stint, and hoping to keep out of trouble as well after yesterday. But if you can lead from the front, build up a gap, I know that's safety car dependent, but if you can build up a gap over the opposition, that's going to help Bartosz Publius going into that second stint of the race. The man at the back, assuming the car is there, should be Stefano Costatini, but he had mechanical woes yesterday, started a bit delayed and then retired early. Kiko Galbiati, who came to Lamborghini racing at the World Final event at Valencia a few years back in 2016, and was immediately impressive, immediately on the pace, and he's going to be a driver to watch here because he will, after yesterday, be absolutely determined to take a win. I think the feeling is one got away rather yesterday, so let's see what he can do here. And also looking down on the grid, there will be Alberto Di Folco starting from third for the Target Racing team, and he was, along with Davide Venditti, really impressive yesterday. That car didn't sparkle to begin with, and then on one lap it just suddenly seemed to wake up, as though Venditti had got happy and got into a rhythm, and he gained a place and was able to fend others off and hauled it up the order. And then Alberto Di Folco did a good job in his stint at the end. He's been racing Lamborghinis for a long, long time. In this championship he was the 2014 Pro-Am winner, and also in the past he has raced in Blancpain GT Series Asia, in International GT Open as well. 22 there, Thomas Michanek, he will go first. Mikko Escalanen just on the other side of the grid, sharing with Jake Rattenbury. And you see it's a pretty busy grid as we get set for 50 minutes of racing here at Silverstone. Now let's go back down to the grid, because Lamborghini's R&D director Maurizio Reggiani is with Dakota.
Maurizio, can you believe the sunshine here in Silverstone? I spoke to you last year on the grid and you still got the same smile on your face. There must be the sunshine.
Because everybody told me to take really heavy stuff, because today will be super cold, raining and everything, and we are here, that is much better than in Italy. In Italy is raining today, and here we have a marvelous sun.
I always love being on the Lamborghini grid. It looks so spectacular, seeing all the cars lined up, and this new Evo looks fantastic.
Yeah, look fantastic. I think performance is really fantastic. Competition is really high. You have seen yesterday that in the last lap, two cars of the same team fight so a lot that one put the other out of the track. I wish that today will be much more competition till the last really lap, and we'll see who is the better.
It's always the last lap here at Lamborghini. Let's have a good race. Grazie mille. Forza Lamborghini.
So the grid is being cleared in anticipation of this second race of the weekend. That's the car that Stuart Middleton will go first in, and it's the winning car of yesterday. The grid is not based on those results, just to clarify. It is on the standalone Q2 times that were established yesterday. So that's how the grid is decided, and everybody now gets set ready for 50 minutes around here. So as the drivers are set to be released, there's the Lamborghini Urus, which is the lead car, effectively the pace car for the rolling lap. It's a very different type of car, but there is a competition series due next year for these, which will be a dual surface, a bit like a rallycross type championship, and the car for that is due to be unveiled at the World Final at the end of this year at Jerez, end of October. So let's have a walk down the grid then. The green car on pole is Karol Bash, and Stuart Middleton lines up alongside. On the second row of the grid, up against the pit wall, going from third is Alberto Di Folco. He drives number 9, and 44 will be started here by Kiko Galbiati. Then the blue and white car of Sergei Afanasiev is 5th on the grid, and alongside him Harold Schlegelmilch, the Latvian driver, in number 12. Starting 7th is the Brit, Jake Rattenbury, and alongside him is Thomas Michanek in the red, white and blue colours, ahead of Anthony Lambert, whose car retired yesterday, and Raffaele Giannoni, soloist for Automobili Tricolori in the AM Cup. Nicola Gomar is another AM, he's next on the grid. Jakub Noll starts the car that he shares with Josef Zaruba alongside. Next is Robert Zwinger, who had a bit of damage yesterday after contact with Stephen Licorice, and alongside him is Oliver Freimuth. Next on the grid is Stephen Licorice in the car that he shares, 77, with Thomas Padovani, and triple Lamborghini Cup champion Gerard van der Horst lines up alongside them. It is JM Littmann, as he likes to be known, with Gregor Machulski lining up as his co-driver, and then the Semoulins, Benoit and Francois, the brothers, are alongside. On the 10th row, Joseph Collado and Superchai Wirabor-Wampong. The Thai driver Tim Richards and Hans Fabry share what should have been the penultimate row but has become the back row, with Stefano Costatini a non-starter. So that is how they line up. Talk about the Brits winning yesterday. JM Littmann, also a British driver, former 750 Motor Club Road Sports driver, spent many years in Caterham's, web company boss, and has raced most recently with the Creventic 24-hour series. Was trying to get a deal together last year to do this. It didn't quite work out, but he's delighted to be on the grid. And with Gregor Machulski, who's got a fair bit of experience of these cars, they had a decent run yesterday, in fact, and they got 10th overall, which was a good result indeed. So that's the grid ready to go. Rolling start, of course. Yesterday's class winners, Nicolas Gomar was the AM Cup winner from Raffaele Giannone, and then Mikko Eskelinen and Jake Rattenbury were third in the class. And the Lamborghini Cup, as I say, won by the Semoulins from Gerard van der Horst, with Tim Richards taking third. Pro-Am, a bit short on numbers this year, and that was Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Folco that came out on top yesterday. So we are good to go. The drivers await instruction. And can we get 2 out of 2 for the 2 British drivers, Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton? So the grid cleared, the engines always fire at the 1 minute board. And so now, as the lead car pulls away, we await the race director, Daniele Galbiati, to wave the flag and give the instruction that the race can get not underway quite, but at least the rolling lap can get underway and the cars will be released accordingly. So off they set, formation lap underway. Chance to get some warmth into the Pirelli rubber. And everybody now will turn through Copse and then on the run up to the Beckett's S's. It's a rather different looking entry this year. As I said, it's not got the same numbers on track. We had 30 plus cars last year. We still got a very competitive entry, and it's no worse for that, but some of the familiar names not here, and people that you are familiar with seeing maybe midfield now running up at the front of the grid and showing what they're capable of. So it's all adding to be a very interesting season for Lamborghini Super Trofeo this year. Onto the hanger straight they turn. There you see the field coming down to the right-hander now of Stoke Corner, ready to get this second race of the weekend underway. Pirelli rubber that everybody runs on. Carol Bash then starting at the front. He's going to be eager to try and build up an advantage as quickly as he possibly can. Turning out of Club Corner now. It's the run up towards Abbey, and when they get out of the left-hander of Aintree, they'll start to get themselves in that side-by-side formation ready for the start of the race. Through they turn. You see the Thai driver, Superchai Wirabor-Wampong, in the Dayglow red car, further back on that grid. The cars now start, as they come out of Village, to concentrate on the start of the race and get themselves ready to go, ready for business. with their 21, which is the car of J.M. Littman and Gregor Marczulski, slots into place onto the outside line. And now they accelerate down towards the left-hander of Brooklands. So side by side they come. Carol Bash starting on the inside line, pole position for the rolling start, with Stuart Middleton set to line up alongside him. On his toes, Alberto Di Folco, isn't he, from the second row of the grid there. Drivers turning their way up through Brooklands, ready for the start of the race now. Stuart Middleton on the outside line will try and get the jump, the former British GT4 class champion. And as they slot into position side by side one another, they come towards Woodcote Corner, everybody tightly bunched. The race director, if he's happy, will give the indication that the race can get underway, and then we should be good to go. Poleman, Carol Bash, Alberto Di Folco is right behind him. The other green car from the second row you need to keep an eye to, that's Kiko Galbiati. He's going to be oh so keen here to try and find a way through that front row as quickly as possible. The cars crawl out of Woodcote Corner, the lights on red at the moment, the pace quickens, and Stuart Middleton absolutely mugged. He crawls away in comparison to the rest of them, and that was either a very anticipatory start by the others or a really bad start by Stuart Middleton, but it seemed as though he was just not ready, or in the wrong gear, or not expecting the pace to suddenly change. But as the cars crawl through Woodcote, Carol Bash absolutely nailed it. He's gone storming clear. Stuart Middleton then dropped back in the pack. Where has he fallen to? Is he third as they come through the Beckett's S's for the first time? It's not as bad as it could have been, in fairness, but it was not a good start, and it means that Bash leads the pack as they come through the Beckett's S's for the first time, heading now onto the Hangar Straight, and the Automobili Imperiali car is trying to get away. Down they come. In second place it is Alberto Di Folco. Stuart Middleton third, regrouping, and I think because he was a bit slow away, Kiko Galbiati couldn't really find a way past him. There fifth is number 12, that's the car of Harold Schlegelmilch, and the Latvian comes up to have a go now. Galbiati on the outside line at the end of Vale. The outside there is the inside for Club Corner, but he goes a bit too deep, and therefore as he tries to fend off Sergio Afanasiev, he loses time against Galbiati. Through they turn now out of Club. 1 or 2 in the background, way wide. Up towards Abbey, Carol Bash trying to build this advantage. Challenge being made up there on the inside line, look. Number 30, Anthony Lambert, looks for a gap, can't find a way through. Slots back in behind as the race leaders now work their way out of Village up towards the loop for the first time. Now, yesterday's race did have a late safety car period within it. We got 23 laps out of the race. Let's see what we end up with today as the cars turn their way through now. Onto Wellington Straight. Carol Bash is getting clear, no question about it. Alberto Di Folco in second place, Stuart Middleton third and trying to fight back. But Kiko Galbiati, rather surprisingly, is not only not making progress, but he's dropping away. Tim Richards is number 28 up the curb there in the MTech run car from the Lamborghini Cup. Number 3, Sergio Afanasiev, who will give way to Danny Cruz, who was on the podium in his first Lamborghini race yesterday. But Galbiati busy defending, losing touch with the leaders. Carol Bash through Woodcote. So Carol Bash goes through. The gap at the end of that one, 1.2 seconds. Carol and Alberto Di Folco. And here's the replay at the start. Now have a look as the lights change. Stuart Middleton just not there. And he managed to regroup and hang on to third place. But certainly Bash and Di Folco absolutely stormed away. Stuart Middleton's start not as quick. As I say, it could have been a whole lot worse. But it was just a much more sluggish getaway. Whether he was not expecting the lights to change when they did, hard to gauge, but either way he lost ground from that front row. The car quivering under braking as he gets into Stone Corner this time. Another man on his toes there. Look lower down the order is in 33, Jake Rattenbury, the British driver in the car that he shares with Mikko Eskelinen. Out of Stowe, he's on the back of Raffaele Giannone there. That's for 8th place overall, and they're both in the AM Cup here. Jake Rattenbury thinks about the inside line and thinks better of it, slots back in as they go to the end of Vale there. Through they turn, and so Anthony Lambert getting closer and closer in 10th spot. Nicholas Gomar is next up, but he's actually falling away just a little bit. Raffaele Giannone coming under attack. Jake Rattenbury right on his tail though as they go up through farm. Race leaders are on lap number 2. 66 is a car worth watching because although Jakob Noll is losing ground at the moment, quick co-driver Josef Zaruba will get into it for the second stint and will be a man to watch as there. Now, Razzleberry loses out to Lambert, as you saw at Village. So that's a change of place now for 9th. Razzleberry, when we last looked, was looking for a way past Giannoni. Now Razzleberry falls back behind Anthony Lambert in this car, but yesterday, when Niels Lagrange was driving it, retired with a bit of damage. Out of Brooklands they turn. So 22 starters. The man at the back at the moment is Hans Fabry. And there Jake Razzleberry trying to get back up the order, trying to gain a place back once again as they come through Luffield here. Over the timing line. Great noise these cars make. They look good and they sound proper as well. Carol Bash then against Alberto Di Folco. 1.6 seconds. Giannoni heading this battle pack in 8th place. Anthony Lambert right up behind him. Then it is Jake Razzleberry. Nicolas Gomard comes next. Robert Swinger is at the back of that 5-car train as they hit Hanger Straight once more. So Carol Bash leading at the end of 2 laps by 1.6 seconds. Dive up the inside there. Giannoni under attack. Lambert eager to get on with the job. Has a long look, but he can't really make that move stick. That's a Pro-Am car, trying to get past an Am car, so Lambert should be able to do it. Let's see as he comes to the end of Vale, but no, again, the door is closed. Raffaele Giannoni, who's a very good Am, able to maintain track position. Lambert, who's done some TCR racing, as well as the Creventic Endurance Series, comes out of club, up the curb, and now makes the sprint past the wing on towards Abbey. J.M. Lippmann's had a drama somewhere because he's fallen behind Hans Fabry now to the back of the pack. As you look at 99, that is Robert Swinger. He's in 12th place. Giannoni under attack, defending from Lambert. And Jake Razzleberry there, also trying to find a way back through. Jake, Ginetta driver, GT racer, Carrera Cup racer, Lamborghini racer. Goes very well in this type of car, but at the moment he's got his work cut out. He's running second in class, but he can't get up to the class leader. Down they come. This is the Wellington Straight into Brooklands. Brake turn left in front of the British Racing Drivers Club's building. The leader, overall leader, has just come across the timing line as you look at Giannoni now turning up through Luffield. Very wide indeed goes Lambert over the curb onto the dirt. Jake Razzleberry gets the drop on him on the inside line and goes through. Jake Razzleberry gains the place back then. 9th he is as they come across the line. A mistake by Anthony Lambert, and it means that also now he's got Nicolas Gomard right up behind him. Nicolas Gomard riding shotgun as they go through Cops Corner. So 9th, 10th, 11th, all busy squabbling. Raffaele Giannoni hanging on to his class lead, but now can Jake Razzleberry come up to have a go at him? Well, no, because Lambert is back ahead, look, as they come through Maggotts Beckett. So Razzleberry was ahead briefly, but now Anthony Lambert goes back through, and that means that Giannoni still has the same pressure being applied. Right there behind him is Anthony Lambert, and he's being warned, Lambert, about respecting track limits, I think having gone wide at Cops as well as at Luffield Out. Under attack there is Nicolas Gomard, and that means that Robert Swinger is the man looking to try to find a way past him now. To the end of Vale they come, threading their way through that section, and now on the power once more. See how wide people run at Club. That's a part of the circuit that perhaps is inevitable that people will run wide at, but it also does attract the attention of the officials. Giannoni under attack, Lambert to the outside line at Village. They're battling for overall position, but not for class honours. And up the inside goes Anthony Lambert. This is where we had contact between the race leaders yesterday. Any contact here is averted. The man to watch in all of this is Jake Razzleberry there, because he is looking to get up with Giannoni. One car but one ahead of him for the class lead. Down Wellington Straight they come as one here. Brake hard, turn now into that right at Luffield. Swing their way up through the long right. Luffield takes you to Woodcote, speed building all the time here. Raffaele Giannoni under huge pressure. Over the timing line he comes. Anthony Lambert pulls out to the inside, has a look, pulls back in again. It's not so much to try and get through, more try to unsettle the driver ahead of him. Race leader died up towards Beckett's now. And Raffaele Giannone still hanging on to this AM Cup lead. Jake Rattenbury in the green and white car wants to be up with the black car for the class honours, but he can't find a way yet past Lambert. On to Hanger Straight they come once again. Absolutely nose to tail. Lambert pulls that to the inside, but again, by the time he's committed, it's time to brake and turn into the corner. So Giannone does exactly that, but now he goes a little bit wide, and so Lambert will come up alongside him. The outside for the end of Vale should translate to the inside for Club, but he doesn't stand his ground. He slots back in behind, gives up on that move. So Anthony Lambert slots back in behind Raffaele Giannone, and still looking for a way to get up past Lambert is Rattenbury. Down they come out of Club towards Abbey once again. The black car of Giannone hanging on to this class lead. He's 8th overall, and the cars now turn their way once again up through Farm to the outside line at Village is Lambert. Is he going to be able to find a way through? And he's going to try, but I fear to no avail. It's not going to work for him, is it? The commitment is there, the effort is there, but he's not yet been successful in getting by. Again, they turn now from Village onto Wellington Straight. And this is where Lambert needs to try and stay in the draft and then make that move up the inside line as they get to the end of the straight. He's not near enough then, and it means that so Raffaele Giannone hangs on to the pace. Turn left, out of Brooklands, and now look, up they go to Luffield with Rattenbury, and then Nicolas Goma, and then Robert Svinger, all in the queue behind. Up front though, the race leader has gone through, and it is still Carol Bash. But actually Alberto Di Folco is keeping him honest, as they say. The gap between the two race leaders is only 1.3 seconds here. Stuart Middleton is in 3rd place. There is Middleton, out of Chapel Curve onto Hanger Straight. So that is the lead, and it's 2.6 seconds across the 3 cars. 4th in the background is a rather, you've got to say, undercooked Kiko Galbiati. I really thought there would have been better pace in the car there from the 2nd row of the grid, but it's just not come. And not only has he not gained places, he's not even been able to stay with the race leaders. Harold Schlegelmilch is 5th, and Sergio Afanasiev is in 6th spot. You're looking at Jake Rattenbury coming now onto Hanger Straight, and we are having Nicolas Goma and Raffaele Giannone being warned about track limits. Lambert once more pulls to the inside, can't find a way by though. Through they turn along the run to the bottom of Vale. Raffaele Giannone hanging onto the class lead, wide up the curb, cuts across, takes the line, so he covers off any move coming from Anthony Lambert, and now they make the run towards Abbey. So this, if you're brave, is flat. If you're less brave, it's a lift. If you're really unsure about it, it's a break and turn right. Then left through Farm, up towards Village. Still, Giannone hanging on to this place and his class lead significantly, 8th overall. Losing touch with those ahead, but it's the class points, the class honours that are really important here. And to have the AMs running as far up as 8th, and I know you can say this is a reflection on the grid size this year, but it is also proof of how competitive the AM Cup is. Raffaele Giannone is certainly no dummy in a Lamborghini, and he's having a good run here at the moment. Down Wellington Straight they turn once again. Rattenbury through on the inside of Lambert, and also Nicolas Goma comes up now to have a go as well. He's on the outside line at Luffield, so Jake Rattenbury goes through, and Lambert manages to fend off the challenge of Goma, but only just, as now they power into Woodcote Corner. But all of that means that Giannone is away and gone. All of that shuffling means that the gap has opened right up, and so down through Cox Corner they go. Giannone is now 1.7 seconds clear of Jake Rattenbury. At the end of the Hanger Straight, however, Carol Bash leading by 1.2 seconds, and the gap came down a little bit in the first sector. Bash has done the fastest lap. 33 there is Jake Rattenbury, so he's finally gained 9th place, and he can set off in pursuit of the AM class leader, and that is Raffaele Giannone in the black car just up the road ahead of him there, look. Coming towards the end of the Hanger Straight. The next pair behind, Nicolas Goma and Robert Svinger, they're 11th and 12th. British driver Stephen Licorice running in 13th, then Benoit Semoulin 14th, and Jakob Knoll, with a lot of work to give Josef Saruba to do, only down in 15th place. That was a car that lost out late race yesterday. Certainly Saruba is much quicker than Knoll on the evidence of this weekend. Right, there is the overall race leader. The Polish driver, Karol Basz, comes out of Aintree onto Wellington Straight here. Alberto Di Folco brought the gap down in Sector 1. He's lost out a little bit in Sector 2, so it's slightly elasticated, that situation for the lead. There is Di Folco. But now, of course, you start to think about the relative pace of the drivers that will do the second stint. And we saw yesterday good pace being offered up by Bartosz Paziewski, whereas Davide Venditti is the AM in this Pro-Am car. There through Maggots up towards Beckett's goes Karol Basz for about 5.5 minutes off that pit window opening. The aim here is clear. Go, go, go. Build up the lead. Try and give that to the second driver to preserve into the second stint in the race. '22 is in the hands of Thomas Michanek. He will give that car to Kurt Wagner for the second stint. But he's a bit lonely at the moment, 7th, because he's a long way clear of this great battle that's still raging on. Giannoni, Razzleberry, Lambert, and then what's happened to Gomar? He's still busy defending from Zwinger, so he's dropped back a little bit away from these three. Onto Hanger Straight they come, and don't forget that Giannoni is one of those drivers that will go to the very end, whereas Razzleberry gives way to Mikko Eskelinen, and Anthony Lambert will give way to the very rapid Niels Lagrange. So this battle will probably only really last until we get to the pit window. Down they come with a twitch from Razzleberry as he thinks about going to the inside and then back to the outside. Goes down to the end of Vale and now into Club Corner. Razzleberry wide in, tight out, gets the run, gets the place, gets his nose in front. He's ahead coming out of Farm, and Jake Razzleberry goes through into the lead of the AM class. Raffaele Giannoni drops back and has to defend from Anthony Lambert straight away. And look, Razzleberry, having gone through, instantly gapped the Italian. Giannoni closes up a little bit as they get to the loop, but he's also under attack from Lambert, who has got Gomar closing on him. But suddenly Giannoni has to start defending, as very wide goes Jake Razzleberry, the new AM class leader. But Giannoni could well get the lead back in that second stint, depending on the relative pace of Mikko Eskelinen, who will take over this Lippert car. Out of Luffield they come, back on the power. Another couple of laps really before the pit window opens, but Jake Razzleberry comes through way up the curb at Woodcote, but you can see he's absolutely flying now. Finally, he's got ahead of Giannoni. He's released, therefore, and he has got to do exactly what, for example, Karol Basz and others are doing, try and build up a gap for his co-driver. Mikko Eskelinen, hugely experienced, if not the fastest driver in the championship, but he knows what he's doing. But Razzleberry will be the quicker of the two, and so he's going to try and build this gap over Raffaele Giannoni, especially given that 96, there it is, will run at the same pace race long. Giannoni will be in the car for the second stint as well because he drives solo. Onto the Hanger Straight they come. And at the end of Hanger Straight, to the inside line goes Anthony Lambert, and again he has a long look, and again nothing comes of it. Raffaele Giannoni able to fend him off. Lambert has the right idea, but he's never really executed it the way that others have been able to do it here. He shows the intent, he has a look, but struggles to make the move work. So through they come once again, out of the right-hander of Club Corner. This is the run down now into Abbey. That's where Razzleberry got the place a lap ago. Is Giannoni going to come under attack? Well, he's always under attack, really. Lambert has good speed coming up through Farm. There's a gap on the inside at Village, but he can't commit to it. So again, Raffaele Giannoni hangs on to the place. Down they come into the braking zone. Turn now into the left-hander at Brooklands. 96, Raffaele Giannone down in 9th. Second in class, but that AM class battle is going to be an intriguing one when we get to the second stint in the race. Anthony Lambert will give way to Niels Lagrange, who's a very rapid Belgian driver, so that's another car to watch. But up front, the gap between the leaders is down again, 1.6 seconds. Alberto Di Folco is not letting Carol Bash get away. Something else that's going to be interesting is the pace of 44 when you put Vito Postiglione in the car, because he is going to be a man on the mission after the disappointment of yesterday. So that's Bash coming to the end of Vale. There's a driving standards flag going to Joseph Collado for disrespecting the track limits, not respecting the track limits. Number 30 going out of Beckett's now. Anthony Lambert on the back once again of Raffaele Giannone, but Jake Rattenbury's class advantage is a second and a half, and there the teams are getting ready. As to the inside, finally goes Lambert, and he's committed early this time, and he's going to go through. Anthony Lambert does go through on the inside line. He gets 9th place away from Raffaele Giannone. It's taken him really about 20 minutes to make that move, but finally it's happened and it's come good for him. So Lambert goes through. Giannone falls back 1 place, but don't rule him out of AM Cup honours yet, though. Window is open. Who is going to be the first one in? We'll see shortly, because the leader is coming up towards Luffield. So Carol Bash, I would imagine, would go a fair way before he puts co-driver, less experienced co-driver Bartosz Pierzynski into the car. Indeed, he stays out for another lap, as also does Alberto Di Folco, as also does Stuart Middleton. But it's going to be Kiko Galbiati in from 4th place then to give way to Vito Postiglione. Shrewd move. So Postiglione replacing Kiko Galbiati at the very start of the time available, and it's a surprise that Galbiati has not done a better stint there. It really is, because when he first appeared on the scene and ever since has been quick, but it's been very, very average, that, strangely. Really odd, because Galbiati normally is a quick driver. So the car stops, and Vito Postiglione is ready to get on board. This is a double driver entry, so it's 1 minute and 25 seconds for the pit stop. See other teams, Raton Racing, ready to receive their cars. So all of this puts now Schlegelmilch up to 4th and Afanasiev up to 5th. Others in include Lambert and Giannone have come in together, in fact, at the end of the lap. So that's the race leader. Carol Bash now still trying to push on, but Alberto Di Folco is doing a very good job of keeping him honest. 1.5 seconds is the gap between them. Giannone gets the screen cleaned before he blasts back into the race. And from him, it's a case of getting the stop out of the way nice and early, then he can concentrate on the rest of the race. 77 is in for Stephen Licorice to give way to Thomas Padovani. So there the leaders come out of the loop. 77 will be Padovani when the race for the lap car gets back underway, when it's released from the pit lane. 1 minute and 25 seconds is their pit stop time. More of the AMs, incidentally, coming in. There's the race leader, Carol Bash. He's now dependent on Pierzynski being quicker, really, than Venditti, who knows the cars a little bit better. For the second stint, it's going to be really interesting between these two teams. In 3rd place, Middleton and Bartholomew, they could still be in the box seat for another win. I know Stuart lost time at the start, but he's still looking strong behind. So there, ready to go, is the all-green car from the Imperiale Racing team. Vito Postiglione taking it over. We've also got the JM Littman, now Gregor Mokchulski, entry in the pit lane. And Carol Bash continues to lead up front with 1.2 seconds being the margin, so it's come down again. Bash has done the fastest lap, but the gap's coming down and down and down. Di Folco presses on behind him, then for 3rd, Stuart Middleton still doing the driving duties. Great win for him and Jack Bartholomew yesterday, and looking at their relative pace, they could yet do a double here, you know. Out of the right-hander they come and Stowe down through Vale now. From the end of Vale into club corner, number 30 there, back into the race, Niels Lagrange, so he's a lap down. But running on the road in a notional 4th place, but he's a lap adrift. But all of that will make sense after everybody has served their regulation pit stop. 50-minute race, not a set number of laps, so it's the flag the first time the leader goes over the line once that 50 minutes have elapsed. And there you've got, with the nose dipping, 32, Stuart Middleton. Came from Ginetta Juniors, where he'd been a front runner, into the GT4 class of British GT with HHC Motorsport, the Charlie Camp, Jody Hamming's team, and now into Super Trofeo, looking very, very strong indeed on the evidence of yesterday. There you've got the leader, Carole Bash, in the first sector of this lap, quicker in the second sector, fractionally slower. Up they turn, then now through Luffield. Is Bash in this time? Let's see. Stays out for one more. So also does DeFalco. Stuart Middleton stays out, and Niels Lagrange behind them, fresh into his stint. So the lead gap, 1.3 seconds. There is Jakob Noll's car, which will now be Josef Zaruba. And 8 being Carole Bash, still leading the way. So here they come onto Hanger Straight once again. Is this gap going to come down any more significantly between the top two? 1.3 seconds between Bash and DeFalco for first and second places. You can see now how Alberto DeFalco is still absolutely hustling on, throwing everything at this as he tries to catch up. Now through the end of Vale into Club Corner, but DeFalco might be relying on the pit stops. And interestingly, Stuart Middleton has just done an absolute best in the first sector. So his times towards the end of the stint, as the car gets much lighter, coming down, and this might be significant in as much as if he's having a real push on this lap, it could be an in-lap for him. So this might well be the last part of his stint. So he wants to have one final charge to see if he can bring the gap right down against DeFalco to give Jack Bartholomew the best chance into the second stint in the race. There are the leaders. Currently we're on lap number 13, and Alberto DeFalco chases after Carole Bash. Up they turn from the loop into Aintree. There is 32, that's Stuart Middleton then. He's running in 3rd place. What's his middle sector like? It's good, but not as good as those ahead. 89 in the pit lane, as you can see, is Nicolas Gomar. Also in is Robert Zwinger, and that's Oliver Freimuth arriving. Gerard van der Horst is in there as well. Race leader out of Luffield, and in he comes. So Carole Bash there to give way to Bartosz Pawliewski. That's going to put Alberto DeFalco into the race lead. Stuart Middleton is in, as was predicted. So Stuart Middleton comes down the pit road, new race leader then there, Alberto DeFalco. So the leading car down the pit lane is about to go. He's 99, Robert Zwinger. Robert Zwinger, number 99 then, goes down the pit road. Back into the race, out gets Carole Bash, in gets Bartosz Pawliewski. Interesting how the Polish influence, the Eastern European influence, is coming into Lamborghini Super Trofeo racing. There's Northeastern, as Stuart Middleton gives way now to Jack Bartholomew. So you get that changeover for the drivers. There's precious little else you can do apart from just check tyre pressures in a pit stop in this race. So it really is serve the time, get ready to go. So when this car makes its pit stop, where will it blend back in? Alberto DeFalco is the on-the-road race leader. Up the curbs, coming out of club, and now shoots past the wing here. Lap number 14 for this car. 79 is under investigation. 79 is Jose Collado, who yesterday had a wheel come off and was a retirement, but Joseph Collado is under investigation for reasons as yet unknown. There down the pit road goes 8. That's now Bartosz Pawliewski. Let's see what he's going to be able to do in terms of keeping that car in contention for a race win. He's up against Jack Bartholomew, so pressure on. And Vito Leone, who took over, remember, early from Kiko Galbiati, is working his way back into contention. The last lap was a 2 minutes 1.863. The car going quickly, but still not looking as quick as he did yesterday. So that is Pawliewski. He's back on track. Pawliewski up through the Beckett's S's. That's Niels Lagrange, who got into the car nice and early, and therefore is making a bit more progress, keeping Raffaele Giannone behind him. We've not had Jake Razzleberry in. We have now, in fact, yes, to give way to Mikko Eskelinen. They're still serving the pit stops. 2 more dive in. So Thomas Michanek comes in. Benoit Semolan comes in. Superchai Wirabor is in as well. And with 21 minutes of the race to go, the order continuing to shuffle. Harold Schlegelmilch's in, as you see. Also, the car for Sergei Afanasiev to give way to Danny Cruz. Schlegelmilch gives way to the Jolly Georgian, Shota Alcazaba. And as the screen is cleaned, the race gets towards this final third. So pretty much everybody now, yes, these are the last cars to make the mandatory pit stop. Means they're going to run to the end. And we'll start at the end of the next lap to piece together the gap. Pierzynski versus Bartholomew. What's the margin going to be between the two of them? Number 9, good to go. And that's Alberto Di Folco in for Davide Venditti to take over. Right, numbers 33, which is Eskelinen and Razzleberry, under investigation for a pit lane speed violation, as is Joseph Collado. Now here you go, Pierzynski. He leads. Second is Stuart Middleton, who's under attack, as you can see, from Vito Postiglione now. Stuart Middleton's car, Jack Bartholomew at the wheel. Postiglione makes the mistake, goes out wide, gathers it all up again, but as they come over the line, the gap now is for the race lead. Pierzynski to Bartholomew, 5.8 seconds. Postiglione is third. The other green car, incidentally, was the lapped Hans Fabry, so ignore that one. But now it's this lead gap. We need to see where Venditti blends back in as well. So that is the leading car. Pierzynski through. Now where is Venditti going to be? Is he going to be in second place? Yes, he is. Davide Venditti there, sideways. He's going to spin on his outlap. Davide Venditti loses it coming out of Beckett on his outlap. Davide Venditti, who's just taken the car over from Alberto Di Folco, undoes all the good work. Round he goes, and so everything Di Folco tried to do has just been lost, I'm afraid, and it means that into second place again goes Jack Bartholomew. Here he is, he knows he's under pressure, but he just tries that little bit too hard on his outlap. He's on the wrong line, the back comes around, so up to second goes Bartholomew, up to third goes Postiglione, and Alberto Di Folco will be distraught after all of that hard work. As now, game on for second place, Vito Postiglione right on the back of Jack Bartholomew with just under 19 minutes to go. In the background, going wide with Superchai Wirabor and in they come towards Abbey. Now through that right, flick left at Farm. And this, the run towards Village. So Davide Venditti with a case to answer. Very embarrassed after that spin. A drive-through penalty goes to Mikko Eskelinen. A drive-through penalty goes to Joseph Collado for their pit infringements. And Jack Bartholomew is under attack here. The longer he can hang on to the place, the more it helps the leader, which is, of course, Bartosz Pierzynski. But as they come down towards the end of Wellington Straight, Vito Postiglione is crawling all over the back of the Bonaldi car. It's Imperiale Racing versus Bonaldi Motorsport. And wide goes Bartholomew, yesterday's winner. He's under attack from the man that dominated his stint yesterday, Postiglione. Out of Luffield they come, into Woodcote Corner. They come, nose to tail they are. The field turning through Cox Corner. Now the lead gap is Pierzynski to Bartholomew's gone up 8.3 seconds. So this battle is helping the race leader. Postiglione still third. In fourth place it's Alcazaba, fifth is Cruz, and sixth now for that spin is Venditti, and he's going to be caught soon by Lagrange. Tim Richards is about to be lapped. Jack Bartholomew through on the inside line there. Also up past goes the green car of Vito Postiglione for Imperiale Racing. There's another one under investigation for its pit stop time, and that is Shota Alcazaba. The pit time was 1:24.8 seconds, so that's too short, isn't it? So under investigation for the pit stop time, Shota Alcazaba and Harold Schlegelmilch, but I think a penalty will be heading their way. It's too short on the stop. For second place, Bartholomew versus Postiglione, who looks for a gap on the inside coming through Club Corner, but he can't find it. Through they turn, and together now they make the run up into the left of Farm here. behind those dips, though, as you can see on 32, the Benaldi car. Jack Bartholomew feeling the pressure, but all of this is really helping Pierzynski trying to build that lead up front. And actually, he's doing very good sector times as Postiglione tries to force up the inside line there, but he can't do it. Again, this is the run down now towards the left-hander at Brooklands, and Vito Postiglione crawling all over the back of the second place car. Jack Bartholomew really is having a tough time of this now. Up the inside goes Postiglione, door is open, through he goes. That is second place, and Vito Postiglione goes through, powers clear as he comes through Woodcote Corner. So now, what can he do about his teammate up the road? It's 11.7 seconds he's got to make up. Postiglione won the opening round of the Italian GT Championship a week ago, partnered by Jeroen Bull, and he's looking strong now that he's got past Jack Bartholomew. But what can he do? There's an extra penalty coming the way of Abkazova and Stegelmilk, but it will be a time penalty at the end of the race, 0.564 of a second. So there'll be this little time penalty to add to car number 12, which at the moment is only a 10th up on Danny Cruz. It's going to lose that place because of the penalty. There you see them in the background. In the AM Cup, incidentally, Mikko Eskelinen is ahead of Nicolas Gomar, but the drive-through penalty has just brought Eskelinen into the pit lane. So Gomar, therefore, will take over the lead from Raffaele Giannone. In third place overall, there you can see the car of Jack Bartholomew. But look at the way that he drops away instantly from Vito Postiglione. Lost the place and losing time as well. There's Abkazova, who's got this half a second time penalty, meaning that Danny Cruz, who was only a 10th behind him, should jump ahead this time, unless Cruz has already done it. Let's see. Yes, he has, hasn't he? There is number 3. Danny Cruz has gone by already, up in the 4th place. So Cruz, new to these cars, doing a good job as he wriggles his way through the traffic. And there is Abkazova also through the traffic this time. Raffaele Giannone presses on, and so does Davide Venditti, who is the next man to pounce on the inside. Venditti now calming himself down, but also conscious that he's got to push to make up that lost ground from the spin on his outlap. So down they come then into the Brooklands left-hander. Venditti all over the back of Abkazova now. The cars turn up through Luffield. This is the run now into the right-hander of Woodcote Corner. Over the timing line they go, and it remains up front. Pierzynski to Postiglione, but the gap was 11.7, it's down to 10.7 seconds. There is Venditti on the tail of Abkazova. Now, what about Danny Cruz doing anything about Jack Bartholomew? 10.7 seconds to make up for third place. Can't see that happening in 13 minutes. Tim Richards goes wide and lets the car of Danny Cruz go through. Abkazova, in the meantime, is losing out on the corrected times to there. Davide Venditti behind him. So on the road, it is still Abkazova ahead, but on corrected times, so Venditti will go ahead of him. Now, we need to see also what's going on in the AM Cup, because that has put Nicolas Gomar into the lead, and Raffaele Giannone has dropped a long, long way back for reasons that are not immediately apparent, because Gomar wasn't really in the game in the first stint. Giannone had the class advantage, but he has just gone over the timing line, a very distant second, like 12 seconds back. And their pit time was only a 10th apart, so something has happened for Giannone somewhere to lose all that time. There you see Tim Richards battling with Joseph Collado. That's Nicolas Gomar, who does lead in the AM Cup, but very strange as to where all the time has gone for Giannone, unless he had a drama somewhere. It certainly wasn't in the pit stop, because it was only a 10th slower than that of his main rival that you're looking at. So the car's now up through Stowe, and there is Nicolas Gomar, number 89. Now, can Giannone do anything about him in the last, what have we got now, 12 minutes of the race, effectively? Up front still, Pierzynski leads the way, but Postiglione is hunting him down. That's the leader. So Bartosz Pierzynski leading by 10 seconds last time. What about now? Because the gap is down to 9. So it's about a second a lap, 11 minutes. I'm not sure Postiglione's going to have time to catch him here. But the traffic getting in the way will not help the race leader, that's for certain. Pierzynski trying to force the issue and get himself up past Gerard van der Horst, who gets out of the way now onto the hanger straight. And so the race leader comes up, charges past, Pierzynski goes through, and with 9 seconds being the margin, Vito Postiglione is a man on a mission. 11 minutes to go. So we're looking at, what, 5 more laps down through Vale. Comes the race leader. First time that Bartosz Pierzynski has raced at Silverstone. Is this going to be a race win for him? What a debut here it would be. He's still got the advantage, but it's a narrowing advantage. Where is Postiglione? There he is, going through the shot. And for third place, that's Jack Bartholomew there. So Postiglione running second, Bartholomew third, dropping away as far as the 2 leading cars are concerned, out of the same stable, of course, of Imperiale Racing. Still wondering whether or not Bartholomew might be caught by Cruz, but it's nearly 11 seconds, that margin. There's Postiglione turning his way up through Village, and this is the loop. So sector 1, what did he find? It was 1.4 seconds. Sector 2 about to be completed. If he can find that amount in 1 sector alone, I know some of it was down to traffic. He's 8 tenths quicker in the middle sector, so he's going to be much, much, much closer at the end of this next lap. Postiglione, Vito Postiglione, touring car racer, one-mate racer, GT racer, you name it, he's done it. And he comes now up through Luffield, heading once more towards the timing line. 66 is Josef Zaruba, carving his way back into the mix. Thomas Padovani is up the road ahead of him, so that's 12th and 13th you're looking at here, and ahead of the pair, Mikko Eskelinen after his drive-through, and he's in 11th place. The Finn. Through Club Corner they now turn. So Eskelinen and Padovani are AMS. Zaruba is in the Pro Cup, but Jakob Knoll, his co-driver, had a pretty slow first stint in comparison, and so that car's been left with quite a bit of work to be done now. Through goes 66, Josef Zaruba. And Eskelinen under attack. So 11th place, Padovani round the outside, but he can't quite stay level on the run up towards the loop. Mikko Eskelinen hangs on to the position, but he's going to go wide here. Up the inside line, look, goes Padovani. And is that place going to change on the run now through Aintree? It does not. Eskelinen, loads of experience at least. He's able to use that to good effect and cut back across and hang on to the place. But behind them, Zaruba is about to get past one. He's past Padovani. Can't get past Eskelinen. The Finn fends him off. Just has enough in hand as they come into Brooklands there. Through the corner they turn, up now through Luffield. And the way that he's going does suggest that Josef Zaruba will be ahead of Eskelinen before much longer. 8 minutes are on the clock, and the lead gap, I said it was coming down, it's come down to 6.3 seconds. Postiglione getting much, much closer to Pierzynski, helped by the traffic as there again. Zaruba has a look up the inside line. Can't really make it stick though there. Had a look, tries to unsettle the man ahead of him, but Mikko Eskelinen using all of the experience to good effect. 8 minutes are on the clock. And in the first sector of this lap, Postiglione was slower, so that I suspect was him coming across the back markers, but he did claw back half a second within the second sector. 7 3/4 minutes to go. Over the line goes Bartosz Pierzynski. Turns through with Vito Postiglione in second spot, and the gap was 6 seconds last time, and the gap is 6.2 seconds this time. In terms of lap times, only a 10th separating them that time around, with the traffic influencing it against Postiglione. Jack Bartholomew in third place has gone over the line. His last lap was a 2 minutes 3, so he's losing about 8 tenths per lap to the leaders. Danny Cruz in fourth place was 10.7 seconds back. He's now 9.7 seconds away from Jack Bartholomew. He will not get there in time unless Jack has a problem. Fifth is the recovering Davide Venditti. Sixth is Shota Alcazaba. Niels Lagrange is seventh. He's a bit lonely seventh, but he is seventh, having taken over the car early. That is then 44. Vito Postiglione going now through Stowe. Out of club comes Zaruba. We've also got Francois Semelin in this. And And Semola has a look at the inside. Kurt Wagner is just ahead of him. Wagner new to the cars for a full season this year, and he's about to lose out, isn't he? This is for 14th place. Francois Semola goes through on the inside line. Oliver Freimuth will go through as well. So 14th, 15th, 16th all shuffles. Semola and Freimuth up, and down 2 places Kurt Wagner. Race leader in the middle sector on this, the 21st lap. We've got 6 minutes still to go. And Bartosz Pierzynski comes up with more back markers ahead, look to try and find a way through. Back markers battling because Freimuth goes ahead of Semola on the inside line. Oliver Freimuth goes through, takes the place off Francois Semola, last winner yesterday, and there, look, is number 8, Bartosz Pierzynski. He needs to get through the traffic quickly, but he doesn't want to take any unnecessary risks either. So it's tough this for him. He's got to maintain the lead, be good through the traffic, and he knows that he's got probably the benchmark driver in the championship, Vito Postiglione, bearing down on him. Through Cops Corner goes number 8. Bartosz Pierzynski through once again, up now towards the Beckettesses, through Maggots first, and then it's right, left, right again through Beckett's, and then left at the Chapel Curve corner that takes you to Hanger Straight. There's the run onto Hanger Straight, and Postiglione gets past number 22 of Kurt Wagner, and the gap was down anyway to 3.8 seconds. It could just yet happen this for Postiglione, because as they come into the braking zone now, Postiglione in the first sector, 4/10 quicker. Into the end of Vale. There you've got 24 Oliver Freimuth, former Renault and Porsche racer from Renault's one-make championships and Porsche Super Cup. Freimuth has found a happy home in this and looking a lot more comfortable this season. So his next target is Thomas Padovani. Postiglione using all of the road and almost the dad for the road as he came out of Club Corner, so why did he go? Hustling on, bringing down that gap. The race leaders go up now through Village, turning their way from Village to the loop, and then Aintree as you look at the race leader. Now what's he going to be able to squeeze out of this? It's 2 more laps at the end of this. Postiglione is creeping up onto the back of him all the time. So lap 22 we are on, down they come into Brooklands, to the inside line goes Vito Postiglione, lines up, goes through, goes ahead of the traffic. Postiglione still working his way forward all the time here. Around Luffield they go now. Out of Woodcote, and the gap was 3.8 seconds. It's 3 seconds now, 3.003 seconds. 2 more laps to go. I think it's going to be a last few corners where Postiglione has the chance. It could be at the stadium on the last lap. So this is another lap of doing a bit more catching. But onto the last lap he will have a chance, but probably towards the end of that last lap, looking at the way that he's going. Josef Zaruba, incidentally, up into the top 10 now. Number 66, as onto Hanger Straight come the 2 leading Imperiale racing cars, and this is where Pierzynski must start to feel very vulnerable indeed, because he knows the gap is disappearing and he knows who it's disappearing to, namely that man, multiple runner-up in the championship, never a champion, Vito Postiglione, but in terms of who's on the grid this season, he is unquestionably the benchmark driver. Out of Club Corner they come now. On the power, and this the run along the straights towards Abbey, another back marker just up the road ahead of the race leader. Pierzynski being careful about where he commits to going through. Postiglione has the confidence and the experience to throw a bit more caution to the wind, and now Pierzynski is being delayed, is he not, by number 79 Joseph Collado. Not intentionally, I'm sure, but Pierzynski does go to the inside line at the loop and goes through. Collado switches sides almost like he wants to play. Perhaps he's thinking that green car is Hans Fabry, which is another class rival, but it certainly is not. It is the race leader who goes through. We've got Danny Cruz in 4th place being warned about track limit abuse, and there are the race leaders coming down then to soon start the last lap. And you see Vito Leone hesitate because he finds the back marker exactly where he does not want him at Brooklands. And Collado, in fairness, gets out of the way going up to Luffield. So Leone gets a clear ride now into Luffield and through the right-hander. There is time for one more lap, and as the leaders come across the line, the gap is now 1.489 seconds. That is all. 1.489 at the timing line. Pierzynski versus Leone, the gap down again there by 1.4 seconds, and that's what he's got to make up. So, as I say, it's going to be at the stadium on the last lap, I think, where Leone has a first proper real chance. Through the Beckett's Assessees they come. This is one of the beauties of double driver races, where you've got a quicker guy catching a not so quick guy, because you can see the gap coming down and down and down, and it's like a handicap race almost. You get it at the very end of the race here. They come into the braking zone for Stowe. Pierzynski still clearing the race lead, but what was 11 seconds is now 1.4. Can he hang on? Half a lap to go, down through Vale now. Pierzynski it is who has the advantage. Coming down towards the braking zone here. And number 44 hanging on to the place up front is Pierzynski. Second still is there. Leone again very wide out of club. Sector 1, the gap was down, but only by 67 thousandths of a second. So Pierzynski responding on this last lap as he has to. Up towards Village, and then the loop they come. You can see how much the gap has come down by, but can Vito Leone get there in time? There's really only Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote to go. He is closing unquestionably in the middle sector. He's taken another 10th out, but he's not going to get there in time unless Pierzynski makes a mistake. There's Brooklands, Luffield and Woodcote to go. This is Brooklands. Through the left goes number 8, Bartosz Pierzynski, trying to hang on to the race lead. So far so good. Sweep round the corner in towards Woodcote, and Bartosz Pierzynski is indeed going to hang on to score a race win. Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash win race 2 of the Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe at Silverstone. The gap at the end, 11 tenths of a second to Vito Leone and Kiko Galbiati. And this is the 3rd place car that fell away, Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton. So through comes Jack Bartholomew, a weird second stint there, the pace just not seeming to be there, and at the end he is, gosh, 16.8 seconds behind these two twins from Imperiale Racing. 4th will go the way shortly of Danny Cruz, Sergio Afanasiev, and then for 5th place, despite the spin, Domini Venditti. Now another good battle to be resolved here is Shodram Kazava and Niels Lagrange. Now don't forget, the car ahead has a half a second penalty anyway. They're going to be nose to tail over the timing line, but Lagrange, even though he crosses the line behind, goes ahead on corrected times. 6th place for Niels Lagrange, 7th for Shodram Kazava at the end of an enthralling race, won by Bartosz Pierzynski right on the line. So Bartosz Pierzynski, race winner with Karol Bash. This is Nicholas Gomar for the AGS Events team, on target to win the AM Cup and take 8th place overall. A Pro-Am win, incidentally, to Domini Venditti and Alberto Di Folco, even though they had that spin. Kazava and Schlegel milked 2nd. And slaying right down as he takes the flag is Nicholas Gomar, but a good win for Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash. And a problem on the last lap for number 99, that's Robert Svinger, who has not taken the flag. He's had a spin at Luffield, and Robert Svinger should have been 3rd in the AM Cup, and he's not going to be 3rd, he's not going to be 4th, he's not going to finish, because the car will not restart. He's trying to get it going, it does so now. So Nicholas Gomar is the winning AM from Raffaele Giannone, and then the Thomas Padovani Stephen Licorice entry. What about the AM Cup? That's going to be Francois and Benoit Semoulin from Gerard van der Horst, and then Tim Richards to be the top 3. So Robert Svinger has got going, and Bartosz Pierzynski is a race winner, along with Karol Bash at the end of another excellent race within the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Next stop for the championship is Misano, and then to Zandvoort. So Karol Bash and Bartosz Pawliecki are the winners of race 2 at Silverstone, ahead of Vito Possiglione and Kiko Galbiati. Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton share third, with Danny Cruz and Sergio Afanasieff next through. Davide Venditti, after a spin, takes fifth with Alberto Di Folco. Anthony Lambert and Niels Lagrange sixth from Shota Abkazova and Harold Schlegelmilch are penalised, seventh. Eighth goes to Nicholas Gomar from Josef Zaruba and Jakob Knoll. Raffaele Giannoni rounding out the top 10. Stefano Costatini was a non-starter. Joseph Collado ending up with a penalty, a drive-through penalty that was, down in 22nd spot. But at least he finished. Yesterday he had a three-wheeled car and did not get to the end. As there into Parc Fermé comes Bartosz Pawliecki. And it's a delighted Karol Bash, who will feel, I suspect, that's a wrong righted after yesterday.
Guys, turn, please. Yeah.
So Karol, very, very pleased indeed. In his second season in Lamborghini Super Trofeo, came into the series last year, and of course was co-driver to the man they've just beaten, namely Vito Possiglione. So, co-drivers on the scene. Kiko Galbiati walks over to see Vito Possiglione, and it was a good charge by Vito, but it came to naught. But still slightly mystified as to where the pace of that car had gone to in the first stint. So Bartosz Pawliecki and Karol Bash are our race winners, and let's hear from them because they are in Parc Fermé with Dakota.
Wait.
Congratulations, guys. Karol, come over here and do the interview. There you go. Congratulations. What a great performance that was.
Yeah, I keep very good pace, I mean, I make really good start, and Alberto was pushing very hard behind me. I make really good stint. Also the driver change with these young drivers, so he managed very well the pace. You know, little bit we miss the speed, but we are working on it. So I am happy of him, very proud that he managed to be first and under big pressure of Vito.
After yesterday, that was a really good finish.
Yes, that was a really good finish. Like I say earlier, it's my first time in Silverstone, first time in this car like Karol 1 year ago. So this is amazing. And what else?
Job Roboto, guys. Good job. Well done. Fantastic.
So an excellent result for Bartosz Pawliecki, Vito and Karol Bash. Vito Possiglione taking that second place along with Kiko Galbiati. But had it been a slightly different story in the first stint, as you see, another second closer to car number 8, and it could have been a different result because of the time that Galbiati lost. And Vito Possiglione, I think, content with the job done, but we'll hear from him in Italian because his English is limited, but he took second.
Congratulazioni. Come è stato tuo stint?
Beh, ho fatto un ottimo stint, la macchina era davvero molto performante, sono riuscito a guadagnare tanti secondi sul mio compagno di squadra, poi alla fine siamo arrivati primi e secondi, chiaramente un ottimo risultato per il team imperiale, peccato per ieri, c'è stata un'incomprensione, però oggi abbiamo praticamente ringraziato il team per aver risistemato le vetture per l'inconveniente che è successo ieri e davvero grazie a tutti.
From what I gather, it was a very hard race for them. They still got a little bit to work on, but thank you to everyone in the team as well, Vito. So, Kiko, congratulations, second place.
Thank you very much. I have to say thank you to all the team that works a lot yesterday to put the car in a better way. For me, it was first stint a little bit difficult, but Vito did a really good job, and I'm so happy for the second place.
Happy for you too. Congratulations.
So an excellent result for Karol Bash and for new co-driver Bartosz Pawliecki. Vito Possiglione frustrated clearly, but an excellent recovery. Now what about third place? Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton seem to fall away in that second stint. Let's try and get to the bottom of why.
Guys, not the same quite result as yesterday, but still a good result from you guys today. Happy with that, Jack?
Yeah, you know, Stuart did what he needed to do on the first lap and the first stint, just consistent, good pace. Struggled a little bit in my stint, but, you know, we brought it home in third. Great points, awesome start to the season. You know, we can work from here, definitely, you know. Let's go.
Let's go. Stuart, is it nice driving a Lamborghini?
Yeah, it's yeah, for sure a nice experience. Yeah, nice driving a car with a bit more power. Yeah, what can I say? It's been a hell of a start of the season for us. You know, coming into this race, this race meeting, you know, if someone told me we could get 2 podiums, then yeah, I'd take it. So yeah, really, really chuffed.
Congratulations, guys. Get on up to the podium and collect your trophies. Thank you.
So the drivers make their way to the podium. Let's have a look at the highlights then of race 2, which began with Karol Bash seizing the advantage going down towards Copse Corner, and he was a man on a mission trying to build the advantage. Alberto Di Folco, though, stayed with him for the bulk of that opening stint, and Karol Bash eventually pitted midway through the window to give the advantage, the leading car, the advantage over to Bartosz Pierzynski, but he was up against Vito Leone. He was carving his way through. Davide Venditti on his outlap had this spin that dropped that car down in the end to 5th place, and so the second stint was all about Pierzynski being caught by the charging Vito Leone. Leone had first of all had to sort out Jack Bartholomew, which he did coming out of left field. Then the British driver fell away, so Leone ending up from an 11-second deficit to a 11/10 deficit by the end of the race. Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash winning race 2 in Lamborghini Super Trofeo here at Silverstone. So there, the podium is ready. The cars are all poised underneath in Parc Ferme. The circuit at the moment is getting very, very busy with the lunchtime displays here at Silverstone, the home of British motor racing. Very pleased yesterday to have 2 British winners. Today they take 3rd place, Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton. And the podium is just about ready. So for the overall top 3, the drivers are there, all the Lamborghini Championship officials have them ready. And it means that first out will be Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton for their 3rd place. The Bonoldi Motorsport drivers, Jack Bartholomew and Stuart Middleton, step forward. One from a very much GT background, one from a single-seater background first. Jack Bartholomew for 2nd place, Vito Leone and Kiko Galbiati step forward. And the race winners for the top step of the podium, Karol Bash and Bartosz Pierzynski, now step forward for the Imperiale Racing team. A very, very happy Karol Bash after yesterday's disappointments. And they are the winners here at Silverstone. Imperiale Racing a 1-2 today. It should have been a 1-2 yesterday, but there was that contact that ended up with the 2 cars touching, one spinning, one and being given a penalty, and the other one retiring with damage. So Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash win today. Maurizio Reggiani from Automobili Lamborghini hands over the trophies for the 3rd place crew of Stuart Middleton, Jack Bartholomew. Then the 2nd place drivers, Vito Leone nearest us and Kiko Galbiati. But the race winners opening their account in fine style at Silverstone, Karol Bash and Bartosz Pierzynski will receive the trophies. There are trophies from Lamborghini, there are trophies too from Pirelli as the tyre supplier. And so the winner's trophy to go to the winners from Ferruccio Pavesi of Pirelli Motorsport. And there you can see the winners for Imperiale Racing, Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash victorious at Silverstone. Vito Leone and Kiko Galbiati 2nd to make it a great result for the team. And then 3rd, Jack Bartholomew, rather happier it seems than Stuart Middleton. Maybe a bit frustrated, Stuart, because it was quite a gap in the end. They were 16 seconds away from the 2nd place car. I mean, Jack's being very positive and saying bring on the next race at Misano, but the Imperiale Racing cars, looking at that gap in isolation, had the edge over Bonaldi today. However, the champagne sprays here at Silverstone. Celebrations are underway at the end of the 2nd Lamborghini Super Trofeo Europe race here, with a win for Bartosz Pierzynski and Karol Bash. The drivers then in a few moments will make their way off the podium, which will be made ready for the Pro-Am drivers. There, everyone huddles together for the photographs, and as soon as everyone is happy, then they will make their way from the podium and the Pro-Am drivers will step forward. So everyone will be brought forward for the Pro-Am podium in a moment. So Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Folco, the winners, after that spin, but it cost them time, but still came through to score the class win, with Shota Abkazova and Harold Schlegelmilch taking second, and a rather distant third, Kurt Wagner, along with his co-driver Thomas Michanek, and it will be Wagner and Michanek that come out first. So out they come, Kurt Wagner, Thomas Michanek applaud themselves for second spot. Then it will be Shota Abkazova and Harold Schlegelmilch, who, if you go back not that many years, was one of the stars, a front runner in single-seater racing. He was a Formula 3, Formula 2, GP2 driver, had a few years away, went rallying, and then was tempted back as the gun for hire, if you like, in Lamborghini racing, and he and Shota Abkazova take second, with Alberto Di Folco and Davide Venditti making it 2 from 2 in the Pro-Am competition here this weekend at Silverstone. Three class winners then. Pro-Am honours at Silverstone to Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Folco, as Giorgio Sana, the head of motorsport at Automobile Lamborghini, himself a former racer in this championship, steps forward with the trophies for the third-placed drivers, Thomas Michanek and Kurt Wagner. The second-placed crew, Shota Abkazova and Harold Schlegelmilch, receive their trophies, and then they will be to the race winners, Davide Venditti and Alberto Di Folco, himself a former Pro-Am champion, and going very, very nicely again this weekend. So there we have the drivers with their trophies. And there's also still, of course, the AM and the Lamborghini Cup podiums to have before the podium is done here at Silverstone. Giorgio Sana poses with the drivers, done a huge amount of good for Lamborghini Squadra Corsa, not only in terms of this one-make championship, but also the amount of GT activity that you see from the squad now. And Giorgio Sana, like many, flees the podium as the celebrations get underway. But Alberto Di Folco takes the win. Davide Venditti, I think, will be quite relieved they managed to hang on to that class win, because that spin could have been a whole lot more costly for him. So as the champagne settles, very soon we will get the AMs up. Still a surprise in a sense, the gap that Nicolas Gomar had over Raffaele Giannoni. It was 11 seconds after the stops, whereas Giannoni had just dominated the first stint, and it wasn't a slow pit stop either, so something went awry, that's for sure. And now the drivers will be brought forward onto the podium at the end of their second race of the weekend. Raffaele Giannoni, as ever, in his shades. It's a weird day when he's not wearing his sunnies, but we've got the drivers just about being rounded up. Circuit commentator Alan Hyde doing his best to coordinate who is where and when they are needed, and that means that we are just about ready now. So out will come Thomas Padovani and Stephen Licorice, regular in British national races from the Mini Challenge, for a time, in fact, Carrera Cup. Then for second place, Raffaele Giannoni will step forward for second spot, and it will be a race win for Nicolas Gomar. Nico Gomar steps forward and is congratulated by Raffaele Giannoni, makes his way then now to the top step of the podium. So the national anthem for Frenchman Nicolas Gomar. So the national anthem played, and Nicolas Gomar, a very happy man indeed. So now we have the trophies to be presented. First up, Giorgio Sana heads towards then the Stephen Licorice and Thomas Padovani crew. There is Raffaele Giannone, who will now receive his second place trophy. And Nicholas Gomar for the top step. Race winner. Then we have the Pirelli trophy to be presented as well. And for a delighted Nicholas Gomar, it's been a good day at Silverstone and an excellent class victory. And the AMS, of course, gave us lots of action early on with everybody running together in that fierce fight. But
with their trophies, there we go. And I wonder, are the AM class drivers going to enjoy a champagne moment on the podium, or they are not going to enjoy a champagne moment? They're going to take the champagne and enjoy it.
So there we have the drivers from the AM Cup off the podium. And then there will be the Lamborghini Cup podium to come as well, where Tim Richards will take third place. Then you've got, for second, Gerard van der Horst, who's made a career out of winning the class in the championship for the last 3 seasons. But it's a win in the AM Cup to Francois and Benoit Semoulin, who will come forward in a moment as the category winners. Francois Semoulin started the race. Benoit Semoulin brought the car home. And the Lamborghini Cup podium is just about good to go. And so we have our third place driver, Dewey, of Tim Richards, ready to be brought forward. Tim, who's been a mainstay for the last 3 or 4 seasons within this championship, going very strongly. So Tim Richards steps forward for third place. For second, there is Gerard van der Horst, who's up against it this year by the look of it, because that's been a tough race today. And Francois and Benoit Semoulin, the brothers Semoulin, come through to score the win. Francois, you can trace back to the 1990s when he used to race in Super Touring in Belgium. But they are victorious here at Silverstone. So the celebrations for the Belgian crew of Benoit and Francois Semoulin here at Silverstone, and Maurizio Reggiani once more heads to the podium in order to present the third place trophy to Tim Richards. And the Lamborghini Cup drivers, those that basically have come into the sport with either no or very, very little racing experience before coming into this championship. And it's been a good way of attracting yet more people in, although you would argue that as a touring car racer of years past, Francois Semoulin has more experience than many in the Lamborghini Cup, but it was many years ago, so he's allowed in with brother Benoit, and the two of them enjoying their new challenge, racing in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. The Pirelli trophy is there as well, and everyone now gets together for the photographs. So everybody on the podium, celebration time for the winning drivers in the Lamborghini Cup here at Silverstone. The next stop will be at Misano in late June, but from Silverstone and from David Anderson, it's goodbye.